Appreciate your taking the time to come in.
My pleasure, Kate.
There's a lot going on, and I wanted to start with your event. You are having a event in February, the inaugural Black History Month commemoration event honoring the work of Cliff Montero here in the community. So talk with us a little bit about this. Coming up with the event and honoring Cliff.
Yeah, it's a wonderful commemoration event. Cliff is a special human being who has been at the forefront of the civil rights movement for well over 50, 60 years. And the other great part of this event is that it's a collaborative effort between the Rhode Island Black Heritage Society and the OIC of Rhode Island. And there's a natural, organic relationship between both the OIC and the Heritage Society. And it's entitled, the theme of it is Beyond Creative Survival, because as we all well know, that period of slavery and all of that, we were one of the early immigrants, so-called immigrants, quote unquote, here to the state, and the only difference, which is a significant difference, was the color of the skin. But it should not take away from the tremendous contributions that the black population made to the growth and development in the state of Rhode Island, not just social, not just cultural, but economic development here in the state. So it's a really special event coming in on February the 28th, 8 o'clock.
We'll have links and information up on on our site.
Oh, okay. And we're just hopeful that we get a good turnout. We're getting a great response to date, getting good sponsors. Hoping that Golocal agrees to be a sponsor of some sort. But, and we're also pleased to announce that we'll be having a young man by the name of Travis McCready, who's the CEO of the Life Sciences Center in Massachusetts. So we want to blend not only the rich history in the past and the creative survival, but we want to talk about going beyond and where we go from here and how we further the growth and development of the black community on an economic development side.
If you'd like a tissue, I have one here, sir.
Thank you very much.
So, will you be giving the presentation about Cliff? What are you going to be telling people in attendance about his impact here in the state?
Well, you know, civil rights is such an important part of the American story. And it has the civil rights movement from the late 50s, early 60s up into the present has made a significant difference in the fabric of our Constitution and people understanding this lively experiment that has been established to form a great democracy. And it's been an added value to improving and strengthening the Constitution and making people more and more aware of the importance of the changing demographics and the contributions that these new so-called demographic folks bring to the table. Cliff has been at the forefront of advocacy for over 60 years. I can recall so vividly when we were kids, you know, about 20, 21 years old, registering voters here in Rhode Island. And he had on his car, "Think Big." That was way back. That was 50, 60 years ago.
Think big.
And he's been thinking big ever since. And he's made a difference. He's been involved and engaged north, south, national organizations. And he's been very consistent in his concern about others. He's not just concerned about black folks, he's concerned about the entire community. But his primary focus is to make sure, as long as he has breath in his body, that he can advocate and push forward progress for people of color, especially in the black community.
So he will be honored at this upcoming breakfast in February by the OIC. And a couple more things I want to talk about while you're here in studio. It's the end of January 18, and want to just know what's on your plate. Obviously, getting ready for this big breakfast and commemorating it, but what's in store for the OIC in 18?
Oh, we've got a lot of things on our plate, and thanks to some great support. We've been consistent, persistent, and we're finally making some significant breakthroughs in building sustainability with the new economy. For example, we're We've launched a technology training program in conjunction with Intercity Geeks with industry partners to create a pathway for diversity into that new economy. We'll be finalizing our work with the state of Rhode Island in their TANF program, that's the Welfare to Work program, to deal with the youth population, that's clients in that group between the ages of 18 to 24, in a very comprehensive kind of a way, and their families. And so that gets us institutionalized within the state system of a population that really needs support and pathways. We just signed a contract with the City of Providence to support the minority business enterprise construction contractors, a specific one, to assist Mayor Lorza and the administration on fulfilling the housing kinds of challenges, the vacant housing challenges that exist.
Does the city and the state do an adequate job from oversight perspective for minority businesses, that the requirement in certain contracts for new buildings and construction that take place here? Yeah,
in my judgment, I think that there is probably under both the Raimondo and the Lorza administrations understanding, and it all starts with that, that it goes beyond just the percentages. That's kind of a management tool. It gets to bringing added value, bringing new talent, new energies into the economic development system. And once people in policy positions really recognize that this is what it's all about, it ain't about an affirmative action program to meet 10% goals. Sure, that's wonderful from a management tool vantage point, but to bring more talent into the equation, and that will grow our economy. So if we get that thinking in place, and I think it's starting to get there. So excellent. I don't think that there's enough yet at the highest levels that understand that and are providing the kind of resources to make it happen, not just with local organizations like OIC or any other organizations, but in the schools and getting people, young people in the demographic areas to really appreciate the business development opportunities that will exist in the past, and this is an opportunity for them perhaps to pursue. So it's comprehensive in scope.
Yes. Had to ask about that. Anything else on the OIC plate that you want to tell folks while you're in here?
No. Other than we've been just from a historical vantage point, those of us who know the brand, we're the guys that built the CCRI years ago when I was a young kid, and we acquired a small machine company called Peerless Precision in Pawtucket, which hopefully we'll be able to chat a little bit about. Cheryl Watkins Sneed.
That was my next question with today, with the loss that the state and her family has suffered, a leader in the community at Banneker Industries. Cheryl Sneed passed away at the age of 59, and just the outpouring of support, remembrances of the impact. She had a larger than life impact on the community. Just talk with us a little bit about that.
Cheryl was just an extraordinary human being. She was a consummate professional from a business vantage point, and she was a consummate engager in community work. And she worked endlessly, tirelessly, with style, and with humility. And I say that if she was standing here right now, I would say that to her. And I'm just so fortunate to have been a part of having her here in Rhode Island, because when OIC acquired the small machine company in Pawtucket, we hired her to be the second in command of this aerospace company. And out of that little acquisition that we made way back in 78 or so, emerged and evolved into Banneker Industries. And it just so happens that she's married to my cousin, and close to the family, the overall family. And so tremendous human loss, tremendous loss to the family, obviously, tremendous loss to the Rhode Island community. She was just a tremendous, tremendous human being, and I don't even see anyone out here right now that was as eclectic, if you want to, in terms of her touch with people in this community, and she will be sorely missed.
Was she, how much of a groundbreaker in her roles? Again, you talk about going back to the 70s. I mean, can it not be overstated how many barriers she broke down?
She has, if there's been someone who's been in a very quiet way making changes and getting people at the highest levels of the public and private sector to really have a deep appreciation for this woman who happened to be black. She was a prime example. She had to make a major difference in policies, on her participation on bank boards, on her participation both on national boards, black sorority. I mean, she was just, she covered the waterfront, and there are very few people that can cover today's waterfront.
Well, she had a major impact here in the state. Anything else you want to share about Cheryl and what she meant to Rhode Island?
Just, I was in conversation with her dad, Bill Watkins, and he and I had done a number of things here in Rhode Island before he retired. He worked for Grid. And we just had a wonderful father-to-father conversation, literally one of the 100 conversations that we've had, and we just chatted about Cheryl. And I recall him saying, he said, Cheryl in 59 years did more than 10 people could do in a lifetime. He was so proud of her, and just knows that she's in a good place, and we just miss her tremendously, but value what she's done for so many.
Well, I appreciate giving us your perspective, because it's business and family.
It's blended, and it just we're still trying to digest it. Everyone's whose life she touched, business people, community people, family, it's surreal. It's surreal.
Well, I'm sure we'll be hearing from more folks in the coming days and weeks, again, with the passing of Cheryl Sneed at the age of 59. But we will have links for the big event coming up in February for the OIC, the first Black History Month commemorative. And so this is the inaugural breakfast.
This is our inaugural breakfast, so come on down. Yeah, we really want to have a nice audience. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Get up, those of you who don't get up too early.
Get up, get breakfast.
Yeah, get breakfast and just participate in what will be a significant event.
Well, we'll have more information for that for you online with the links about that breakfast as well. But Mike, I appreciate your taking the time to come in today, and I'm sure we'll talk moving forward, but we'll let you go off, and we'll have you back in soon.
Thank you very much, Molly.
Mike.
It was great.
Nice seeing you.
Nice
Take
seeing you
care.
too.
I'll let you go around the corner.
Okay.
Bye. Mike Van Leesten with OIC. They are having their first, it's the inaugural Black History Month commemorative breakfast. They are honoring Cliff Montero for his impact here in the community. They'll have other keynote speakers as well. We'll have links up for that too. So looking for more audience participation, more sponsorship, so we'll provide more info for that. We kicked off the 4 o'clock hour with Tim Faulkner with EcoRI talking about offshore drilling from the Trump administration, where Rhode Island stands, where he sees things moving forward, talking about tariffs on solar, what that might have an impact on the industry, and the latest in the Invenergy attempt for a power plant in Barville, going through some regulatory machinations, and just mentioned just today where things stand with their attempt to connect, if possible, at Invenergy to the grid and their lawsuit pertaining to that and how that plays into the big picture. So we kicked off today at 3 o'clock with Rick Simone with The Taste, with great food and dining from Fall River. Appreciate folks coming into that. Again, it smells great here in the studio. Just provided you with a little bit of a news and politics update here at Golocal. We've got a few big guests coming up for you in the coming days. We've got Commerce Secretary Stephen Pryor will be in studio here with me tomorrow at 4. Rick Simone will be back with The Wedding Show, and of course Molly O'Brien at the 3 o'clock hour with All Things Lifestyle. On Friday, I welcome in Governor Gina Raimondo for a pop-up earlier than the shows at 2:30, so be sure to tune in for that. And we'll have the Speaker of the House at 4 o'clock, kicking off that hour. So we're going to have a big politics couple of days here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. If you've got thoughts, you've got questions, want to reach out to me beforehand, please do so. But as always, we appreciate your watching, we appreciate your feedback, and we look forward to seeing you back here in studio again tomorrow. Go Local News editor Kate Nagle.